The project shown in this video can be found in the textbook Technical Drawing 101 with AutoCAD, available from SDC Publications.
Alright, this is video 2 of 2 for the FM Tuner, and we are in Chapter 9 of the Tech Drawing 101 book. And in the first video, we took some time to set this drawing up. We came in here and created some new layers, circuit and symbols, and we created a few blocks. We're going to go to Insert just to view those. I've got capacitor, dot, NPN transistor, PNP transistor, and resistor. So took a little time to get that all set up. We cleaned up the screen by deleting everything off of it that was in that template. And now we're going to get started. So step 5 in the book is where we kind of left off, and I'm going to go back to the Home ribbon. And it says to go ahead and make that circuit layer current. So I'm going to make that circuit layer current, and I notice that I have my snap on. I'm not sure why I have snap on. That's F9. I'm going to turn that off. And snap is good, but snap F9 is the one that kind of jerks your mouse around the screen. I don't really want that to happen as I'm drawing. So I'm going to do the line command, and what I need to do is draw a line. These lines are going to be at 1.125 as far as the length goes, but it says to start it at 2.75. So it gives me an exact place where I need to start it. And I've got my line. I think what I need to do is go ahead and hit F8. I'm going to turn on my ortho. Ortho is going to lock me in so that I've only got vertical and horizontal options for these lines. That way I know I'm making them perfectly straight. So I'm going to make them 1.125. Don't forget that little 1. They're not 1.25. 1.125. I drew the first one. I'm going to press enter to repeat the last command. So I'm back in the line command, 1.125, and press enter. So I've got just the beginning of this. I've got it started here. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do, it says I can use offset or rectangular array. I'm going to go for the array command. So I've looked at this grid, I've counted it, and I've counted 6 rows and 8 columns. So I'm going to base my array on that. So I'm going to say array. I'm going to do each one individually. I'm going to select this guy right here, press enter, and I'm in the array command. Because we're doing that vertical line, when you are doing this in AutoCAD, it counts that line as the first one. So that line is what I need to make into the rows. And so it needs to have, even though I counted 6 rows, that one counts as the first one. So I need 5 rows and then 8 columns. So 8 columns, spacing on the column 1.125, and then I've got 5 rows. I need 6 total, but that line counted as my first one. So 5 rows, 1.125 spacing in between. Close the array, and they just look like solid lines, but they're actually individual lines just kind of touching each other perfectly. We're going to start the array command again, select that horizontal line, and again I need a total of 6 rows, 8 columns, but this horizontal line right here counts as the first column, so I don't need 8, I'm going to need 7 columns. So 7 columns with a spacing of 1.125, and then 6 rows, 1.125, close, and if you do it right, you get your perfect little grid right here. And this is just made up of individual lines all touching each other perfectly. You could have done the offset command, but it would have taken a whole lot of offsets to get that done. We did it quickly with the array command. Alright, so the next step, we're done building that circuit. So the next step is we'll just set that symbols layer current. And now we're going to insert those blocks that we created. So we're just going to kind of visually do it. We see where these blocks go, and at this point it is a good idea to turn on your midpoint snap. If you don't have it on already, go ahead and turn on midpoint, because we're going to be snapping these blocks to the midpoint of these lines. I'm going to go to the insert ribbon and the insert command, and I'm going to say resistor. And at this point, do you notice how that resistor comes in horizontally, but I need them vertically? So what I can do is look down at the bottom, my command line. I have this option for rotate. I can either click that word, type R for rotate because it's the capital letter and press enter, or I can do my down arrow on my keyboard and say rotate. Rotation angle will make that 90 degrees. That way it comes in perfectly straight, exactly the way I need it. I'm going to snap to midpoint and it looks great. I'm going to keep inserting these blocks. You know, it's a cool thing that AutoCAD 2020 has is you've got this option here for recent blocks. Takes a little second, but it remembers all the blocks that you've used recently, so I don't have to keep going up there. If I've used this block recently or made this block recently, then I've got it right here. So I can come in here and just keep inserting things. So I've got this guy right here. I click on it and I'm kind of just dragging it in. So I need to do R for rotate. This one I'm going to do 180 degrees. And this one is going to go right. Ooh, it's going to go in between these two. So if I do shift right click mid between 2 points, I need to go between this midpoint and that midpoint. And I've got it right there. I'm actually going to end up drawing a line in between those two lines. And because I want this resistor in, I'm going to just copy this one so I don't have to keep rotating it. I'll go home and I'm going to say copy. I'm going to zoom in here, select that resistor, press enter, pick it up here, and I'm just going to copy this everywhere that I need it. I need it on this last one, not this one. I need it here. I need it here. Not this one, but this one. On the bottom down here, not the first one. I need it on the second one. The third one. Not this one. Right here. And right there. I think that's it. Press enter. And I've got it in right here. I'm going to go ahead and put in some more of these. Blocks. I've got some more capacitors to bring in. This time I'm going to rotate. Let's see, -90, so I can get it with that flat one on top. And I'm going to put this right in between these two resistors. I've got several more like that, so I'm going to copy. Press enter when I select it. Pick it up at that midpoint there, and then I can just place it exactly where I need it. So I need one here, I need one here, I need one here, and I need one at the midpoint here. I think that's it. We're going to come back. I know that guy's floating, but we're going to come back and add in the line for it. Next we've got 3 different transistors. I've got 2 where the arrows are not pointing in, so they're NPNs, and I've got 1 where the arrow is pointing in, so a PNP. Let's go ahead and do the PNP, not point in please. So the arrow is pointing in. I'm going to do R, enter to rotate, and I'm going to take this guy and I'm going to rotate it -90. You could say 270 as well. I put it right here. Oops, one over. Right there. So make sure the arrow is pointing in and it's pointing up from the bottom. I've got my NPN and I'm going to rotate. Again, -90, or you could say 270 as well. And this one is going to go, let's see, right here. I've already got it rotated. I could insert another one, or I can just copy this one since it's already set up the way that I want it. And this one is going to go over 1, 2, right here. So when you're doing these, make sure to look at that arrowhead and make sure that the arrow is pointing exactly where you need it to. Now I'm going to go put in a dot. It's funny, the dot command here just looks like a little bit of a starburst or something. It's just how it's representing that little circle. But we definitely have a dot anywhere that there's a T connection. So I'm going to have a dot right here. Have a dot right here. Oops, let's just do the copy command. Once we've got that one in. So I've got a dot here, a dot here, and again I'm just following the book. I'm just looking at the picture in the book. Right above this capacitor, right above these two resistors, right below this resistor. I've got one right here, I've got one right here, one right here, one right here, one right here, not there, here, oh, I needed one more. Or I can just insert it here. I need one right there. Okay. So I'm going to go draw real quick a circuit line coming out of this guy, going straight here. We're going to end up adding in a little output here, but for now this will do. Okay, I think we've got it. Now I'm going to come in here and trim or erase the lines that we don't need. So I'm in step 9. First, what I'm going to do is erase out all those lines that I don't need. So I don't need these guys. Click on the little erase button up here. I don't need this one. I don't need these two. And again, I'm just looking at the picture in the book. I don't have a magical answer here. I'm just looking at the book as I go. Okay, so I've got all the circuit lines taken care of. I believe that looks about right. I think that looks good. Now what I need to do is come into these blocks. I'm going to zoom into each one and I need to trim. So I'm going to say trim, press enter. It's going to make my life easier. Just trim out all the stuff that I don't want to see. So in between each one of these blocks, this is going to be a lot of busy work. Even those capacitors, it's easy to accidentally miss those, a tiny little line in the capacitor, but you want to make sure that you trim everything out over here. Definitely helps to zoom way in. Just pan your way through the drawing. Let's see if I missed any. I think it looks good. Alright, so done with the trim command. Now these guys that are sticking off of here, the outputs, we're going to go ahead and draw those in right now. And I'm on the circuit layer. I'm going to just draw a line. It's 1.125 is the size of the length of these lines. Let's make these about 0.75. Now that I've got one drawn, I'm just going to copy it. Alright, got one here, one here. Copy it again with this as the base point. We'll come over here. Got you. Alright, we've got 3 on either side, and it does say it's a 0.5 diameter circle, so let's go to the symbols layer, and we're going to draw a circle with a diameter 0.15, and I'm just going to copy that circle into place from the quadrant to here, and here. Quadrant, get rid of that original one there. It looks good. Alright, so it's looking a lot like the drawing now. Make sure we've got dots in all the right places. One nice thing that you could do is just come through here. If you're not sure if you have dots, you definitely are going to have a dot anywhere that there's a T connection. Where it comes into a T, that circuit, those two circuits have to be tied into each other. But we do have an extra little dot right here, and that just means these circuits are not crossing over each other, they're actually tied together. So be sure not to miss out on any of those little dots. You could always go into the drawing and count how many dots you have, count how many resistors you have, count the transistors. Just come through here and make sure that you have everything that you need. Ooh, I notice a dot that I'm missing, so I'm going to put in a dot right there. I forgot that guy. Okay, so it's looking good. I noticed I was missing it because it was a T connection. Alright, so the next step that we're going to do is place notes. So, we're going to place the notes to the left side of, well, the overall notes are going to go to the left side of the title block, but the notes that we need to put next to these symbols, just make sure that you do not have the text actually snapping onto the object. So it's just going to be kind of floating off to the side. And so place notes on the text layer, it says. So we'll pull this down, and we've given you text, not PS text, that's paper space text. We're going to go with just text. And I think the easiest way to do it is if you pull this down, you know you've got multi-line text, but you've got single line text as well. I like single line text for this. Single line text wants me to just click where I want to get it started, so I will click here, just somewhere, like right here. And then it wants your text height. So the text height, 0.125. The rotation angle, 0. We're not going to rotate our text. And now it wants the text. So using all caps, this is going to be R11. When I press enter, it goes right below that, 340. What's nice about that single line text, not multi-line, but just regular text or single line text, is it stays active. It put these two right below each other, right in line with each other, but now I can click over here and I can start typing here. R12, enter, 6.8, K, click right here. R14, enter, 5K, click right here. Click right here. And notice when I'm clicking, I'm kind of aiming for that little midpoint, just a little bit off of that midpoint. If it's fine if it goes off a little bit outside of that magenta. Oops. And it does not matter what order you do these in, as long as you get them all. Alright, do all my symbols have what I need around it? Okay, I'm going to press enter twice. The first enter gets me, thinks I want another line of text. The second enter gets me out of that command. And I'm going to go ahead and copy these. I've got that for both of these. No point in typing them over and over again. Okay, I think I've got it. I think I've got all my symbols. I think all my symbols have the appropriate text next to them. You could take this chance to kind of zoom in and move your text around if you feel like it would be better looking somewhere else. Turn off my ortho. Get it a little tucked in a little bit closer. But this is it. It looks great. All right, so now it's time to print the FM tuner. We are going to save our work, save as you go. Click on this layout here and it is looking good. What we are going to do, it says in paper space, fill out your title block by double clicking on the text. If you accidentally double click while not directly on the text, you may end up in model space on accident. And then plot, follow the instructions to plot. Alright, so I'm going to make sure I'm in paper space right here. It says paper. Double click right here, fill it in. For the scale, I'm going to put NTS, not to scale. And you can go on and fill out the rest of this. Sheet number 1 of 1. Oops. 1 of 1. We do need to have the notes in here. So it does say notes. If I look back over here, text height should be 0.125 for both the labels and notes in model space. Now you have two different choices. We can either put the notes right down here in model space, or we can come into paper space and put the notes there. I'm going to go ahead and put them in here just with that regular text command like we had before, and I'm going to come over here. Actually, I think I am going to, instead of using single line text, I'm going to use multi-line text, and that way we can come in here. With that, you kind of draw like a little text box around it. 0.125 should be the text height, but I'm going to come in here now and I'm going to type in notes, and then 1, resistor values are in ohms, 2, there we go, little typo there. Looks good. So I've got the notes there. Looking here, those notes look good. It is a little bit close. I think what I'm going to do on mine is come in and just move these notes. These notes just need to be approximately next to those. So I might just kind of, maybe I'll move this one up here a little bit. See if that helps at all. All of these can move in a little bit closer. Let's see, did that help? Yeah, that's looking a lot better. So it was just getting a little too close to the border before. Alright, so the last step, we definitely need to read the instructions over here. Turn off the model space layer when you're ready to plot the FM tuner. So we'll come up here and we're going to turn off or freeze, either way. Turn off that layer. That way those don't plot. And it's ready. Once you've filled out your title block, we are good to go. That's a nice looking FM tuner. You did it. Good job.